Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Yes.
Okay, let's do it the same way. I have only three tiers in this one, and the first one is I call the fearsome foursome. I don't think any of these teams stand out over the other, but I can see any four of these teams being in the Super Bowl, and I have the Chiefs, Ravens, Bills, and Steelers.
I would only have three. I would not put the Steelers in there, but I would have the other.
Okay. So you don't trust in that defense, huh?
I trust in the defense. I don't trust in the offense against the other like against the Chiefs defense. I mean, Baltimore's defense isn't great, but I think no, I don't trust their defense enough.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay.
I think their offense is going to be poor enough, and Russell Wilson, I think, again, it goes in cycles. People are figuring out enough about Russell Wilson that some of these games are like, is he that? I mean, he throws it better than Justin Fields, but I don't trust them to be with those other three in a big game.
Okay. I guess like if especially if they get like home field advantage, I don't know why. Like they know they have Lamar Jackson's number. They do. And if they get Lamar, if they can find a way to beat the Steelers and then the Chiefs and Bills, the Ravens and the Chiefs and Bills beat up on each other, could you see them beating one of those two teams? Like maybe the Chiefs. The Chiefs, I don't know what the Chiefs, like, honestly, you know what I'm saying? But also the Chiefs kind of play the regular season like the 2000 Cavs. So I don't know. Like, I don't, so I guess maybe it's just that's the way they're doing it right now, too. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I tend to, I just don't care for Russell Wilson that much. And I tend to think in a big game, that will be the oops.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair. So my second tier then, and maybe this is where you would put the Steelers, is the crane kick. So this is a tier named after the Karate Kid, where he was the underdog and he had to sneak attack the favorite with the crane kick and knock him out, right? So this is the teams that I consider the crane kick teams that could knock out these favorites, and I don't think any of us would be super surprised. I don't think they'll get to the Super Bowl, but taking out one of these four or three teams, depending on how you look at it. So I have the Chargers, Broncos, and I also put, to a lesser extent, just the same way I did the other side, I put the Bengals if they somehow get it.
Yeah, I would agree with you with the Chargers and the Broncos. I would put the Steelers here because I think they're similar category. The Chargers defense to a lesser extent. I think there's some holes there. Like, Baltimore kind of showed if that pass rush isn't quick, um, they kind of rely more on we got to control the ball. And if they don't, the game gets away from them. Whereas the Broncos, I think, are a little better than that. And the Steelers are probably the best at that of this group. And the Bengals, I wouldn't put in any of these because they're hot garbage to me.
The offense. I'm just like, I do not want, if I'm a playoff team, honestly, I don't want to face the Bengals offense even for one game. Just because even like think of like how many points did they put up on the Ravens? 34. Like they're just going to be able to put up 30 points. So your offense has to be crisp that day. I'm not saying they'll make the Super Bowl. I think they're what? They're ninth or 10th right now in the conference. So they're not like too far out. I don't think they'll get there, but if I had to pick a team that's kind of still like on the edge and I don't want to see if I'm one of those top, they're 10th. Like I fear them more than I fear the Colts, but I just think their offense is just so high powered that I don't want to see them in the first round.
Yeah, minus well, we'll find out. They play the Steelers.
Yeah.
Will be a good test for the Steelers, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I just think any of the good teams would be like, all right, yeah, the Bengals are going to put up 25, 30, and we're going to put up 40 on that defense. So,
yeah,
throw away Joe Burrow. We're going to get to you. I just think the Bengals remind me, like watching them, they're just like the fake tough team in basketball or whatever, where they're like, oh, look at us. And then you back them down or put a post move on them and they just fall apart and Joe Burrow throws it around and Jamar Chase puts up awesome numbers, but looks miserable on the sideline because it doesn't matter what they do. They can't stop anyone. I just don't think could they win a playoff game? Sure. Could they beat the Broncos because they got to 24? Yes. But I don't think they're going to get to 8 wins.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they'll get the 8 wins either. It's just like a team I don't want to see in the playoffs if I'm one of the top 4. I think one of the biggest difference between me and you as far as the AFC goes, though, it sounds like, is you have a lot more faith in the top 3 teams, the Bills, Ravens, and Chiefs, than I have. I don't know if they're that much better than the second tier. I guess that's where I think that's where our differences is, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let me. Go ahead.
Go. You're right. Like I would just default to the Chiefs showing up, especially the Chiefs. Like you're right. Like
that's fair.
The playoff comes and you're like, oh wow, oh look, they ran hurry up. They haven't done that since last year. And Buffalo has its holes on defense, but Josh Allen is Josh Allen in a big game. And I think again, Josh Allen in a big game, you're going to see Josh Allen and not like, oh, I'm going to drop it off.
Yeah, but what do we know the Bills and Ravens for the most?
That is true.
So that's why I don't. It's kind of like they are wait till January teams almost.
Yeah, I guess my difference would be minus the Steelers because I would have them the closest because they have the best defense.
Sure.
Between the Chargers, Denver, and even Cincinnati, I don't think they're a good enough team to, for 60 minutes, take one of those teams down. Minus, again, it's football, a crazy bounce, a muff punt. Like all those go into it where you're like, well, now I look stupid. But if the Chargers were going into Buffalo, I would not hesitate to be like, Chargers are going to lose this game by 20 points.
Okay.
I just think in the cold, or the Broncos, it might look good. Josh Allen's going to wear him down. It's a good year. You got the 7 seed Denver, but next year.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, and the last tier I have is, look, Mom, we made it, and I gave this to the Texans and the Dolphins. Like it is what we accomplished something. We got to the playoffs. The Dolphins, if they make it, it's because the rough start to the season, the Tua injury. All of a sudden they're in the playoffs. And Texans, you're going to win the AFC South, but I mean, right now, like we talked about earlier on, they haven't looked special this season. And so it's like, oh, we made it here. And I just think whoever they end up playing they're just going to kind of be. I mean, obviously the Dolphins, if they play in like a warm climate or a dome, they might be a little bit of a problem. But for the most part, I just don't see them making any of these upper tier teams sweat.
Yeah, the Dolphins, I want to put in that category. I can't until I see it this week because it's going to be mid-20s for this game Thursday night. If they can come out and look impressive against the Packers, I would bump them into like even ahead of Cincinnati, and that you don't want to play them because if they can do it in the cold and look good, I think their defense is good enough and their offense, barring any injuries, is diverse enough now that you could put a scare into a team. But I can't do it because they're based on their record. They're going to have to any team that wins the divisions, unless you're fortunate enough to play Houston, KC, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Buffalo. I hate to tell you, it's not going to be too warm come January. So if they can do it this week, I would put them even like ahead of the Texans as far as a playoff team.
Okay, I like it, but we got to see it. I'm with you on that. We got to see it first. Okay, anything to add to the tiers? Did you have another team in there at all or no?
The other teams, like you mentioned, the Colts, I don't think the Colts are serious at all. Like they're just,
Anthony Richardson, like there. What? Yeah, I know. Like what? I like their deep.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X, and we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.